Wait. Huh? No. Whatever.
Haven't you heard? There's a strange water has caused prosperity. It's been doing quite busy recently.
Our bond is strong. I see everything.
Solidify! Quicker.
Let's do this then! Yes, you are. Forget it!
Ad Astra. Thank you for
Everyone hold hands! Dissipate!
Freeze!
Here you are.
The wrong test subject. Test subject.
I see everything!
Resistance.
Another test subject.
Stand with me!
Flicker.
The wrong test subject.
Blink! Our bond is strong!
Stabilize. Solidify.
Hey! Stand with me! Everyone hold hands! Our bond is strong!
Look at me. Just.
Stabilize.
Another test subject.
Flicker.
The wrong test subject.
I see everything!
Curses. There's sand in my shoes.
I've taken some time to reflect on this. If I had to guess, Professor Cyrus came to the desert knowing that he would almost certainly never return. He's a stubborn man who tends to double down when he feels strongly about something. We won't get anywhere trying to convince him to escape.
I agree. My master Nephis says the same thing. Once Cyrus makes up his mind about something, he won't listen to reason.
So that's one thing. A few other things come to mind too. You've heard all you need to hear about the Temple of Silence. So on that, I don't have anything to add. My own memories of this place are hazy though. Probably something to do with the overpowering presence of the Ba fragments. That might explain why I suffered from I do remember having some fleeting moments of profound emotion when vague images would appear in my mind. I was still young then, and all I could understand was that there was a strong will inside my mind. Thinking back on it now, I suppose it was Herm Anubis' way of trying to encourage the power that came to inhabit my spirit was probably one of the cornerstones of their whole faith. So if the will and might of Herm Anubis is a real, intangible thing...
You're not gonna give in to their demands, are you? Surely there has to be another way!
No. I have no intention of returning it. I need this power to protect Sumeru. But the temple has the right to make the final decision over its fate, since it belongs to one of the 7 pillars of... So I will challenge them head-on, and win the right to wield this power for myself.
This reminds me of something Alhaitham mentioned to me just before we left. He said that the Temple of Silence was originally founded by the ruling elite of the day. Traditionally, Sakave has made similar observations about the desert tribes from his work trips there. He says many of them have their own internal rules. They talk about the importance of never dishonoring their tribal bonds. Oh, I think we could turn that to our advantage.
Wow, and just like that we've...
Looks like we have the same idea. Turn it back on them now while we still can, in terms that they cannot refuse.
Great. And I know just how to start the conversation. Let's go find Sethos. We'll tell him that I know a thing or...
Sethos, let's talk.
Have you made up your mind?
We'll get to that, but first, I have some degree of medical training, so I was wondering if you might let me take a look at your...
I have no objections, although we do have our own doctors here. I doubt you'll be able to tell us anything.
Only one way to find out.
Follow me. Keep your voices down. We don't want to disturb him.
Let's talk outside. Bamoon has fallen into a deep coma, and his prognosis is quite grave. I'm sure that your physicians have come to the same conclusion. He appears to have sustained a serious injury in his youth, which has been exacerbated over the years by the heavy burden of work and now by the effects of... Regretfully, I must inform you that, based on what I've seen with patients in a similar condition, he doesn't have long left. A few days at most.
Yeah. I've known for...
You're his heir, aren't you? You clearly have a lot of respect for the man. But you also see things differently. You have a broader range of concerns and a more pragmatic... So tell me how we can end this on your terms. Let's find a way to bring all this to a resolution while Bamoon is still alive to see it. That...
Yeah, there's no time to waste here.
You know, the two of you are actually in a very similar predicament right now. Both of you have a very...
Right. And you didn't create this situation. They did, but somehow you've...
You're right. We both look at this problem very I accept, Sino. This all began because of Hermanubis. Legend has it that when Hermanubis first arrived in Tuletula, he sparred with the city's residents. He and his two companions proved their mettle by fighting over... That group of supporters were some of the first members of the Temple of Silence, and the sparring matches were enshrined.
Sounds very fitting.
As a fellow vessel of Hermanubis, your ties to the Temple of Silence run deep.
3 against 3.
However, I have some additional terms. As the challengers, you must win all 3 of your fights to win. And Sino, both of us must put on... Letting Cyrus leave with one of the Ba fragments was a mistake, made by my grandfather out of pity. It is a long-standing issue that must be addressed for the Temple of Silence.
None needed. If I win, the Temple of Silence must release... If you win, I'll return my...
It's a deal. Then let's meet at the ceremonial hall tomorrow evening.
Well, after how that went?
There never was. Turning back hasn't been an option for me since the moment the professor slipped away.
You have to win. You need this power.
Yeah, that's right. Besides, it stayed with you ever since you were a small child. Surely that's a...
Both as General Mahamatra and for myself. Yeah, when you put it that way. I've had to overcome a lot to tame this power and claim it from...
Exactly.
The Traveler and I will never...
And neither shall I. The desert was home to an ancient and great civilization that, for a variety of reasons, fell out with the civilization of the rainforest. It's just as Dia said, but there must be personal factors at work here too. I can't shake the feeling that Bamoon cares for many more things than he lets on. And I don't think that Zethos is any kind of villain. Tomorrow.
We gather on this day to perform once more the rite of duels, with the greatest of all sages, Lord Hermanubis, as our witness. This is our most sacred of ceremonies, and no disruption from the audience shall be tolerated. It is incumbent upon all to observe the duel with representing the Temple of Silence, the defend.
Grandfather, you're here.
A rite of duels after all these years. I am surprised by your decision, Sethos.
I know what I'm doing, Grandfather. Just leave it to me.
Representing the Academia, the Challenger.
Ready. We will fight to have our voices heard.
Warriors, take your positions and decide on the order of battle. We come not to debate what brings our challengers here, nor what will become of the defeated duelists. Duelists, the might of Herman...
Huh? Are you sure?
I agree. He's very strong. Sending him out first...
Okay, then
Sure.
we have decided.
So have we.
Duelists of the first bout, please step forward.
Don't forget, safety first! Hey, you there! You better play nice with them or Paimon will make you regret it!
A little bit too much chatter from the audience over there.
Hey!
A swift end to the first bout. I now invite the duelists of the second bout. When you're both ready,
Let's begin.
Watch out!
Go, Tenma, go!
He drank plenty of water before the bout, so he should be fine.
One with the force.
thus ends the second bout. We will now move to the third bout.
I'm ready.
So am I.
This is the final stage of the rite. When you're both ready,
I am Sethos, vessel of Hermanubis, grandson of Bamoon, the leader of the Temple of Silence. For many years, we have kept our covenant with Lord Hermanubis by guarding the secrets of King Deshret. And even in we earnestly sought Lord Hermanubis' wisdom and power, longing to seek. Now, I will fight to become the rightful wielder.
I am Sino, General Mahamatra of the Academia, student and successor of Cyrus, the Sage of Spontamod. And you, I think you left some things unsaid. This is a sacred duel, and Hermanubis is watching. So bear.
Everyone. Oh, my grandfather is a wise leader. He is also known to be a ruler who is not afraid to get blood on his hands. But our faith has held us back for too long. After I grew up, I went to the rainforest once. Times have changed. The people of Sumeru are happier and more free now than in the past. I thought of you, Sino. You and I both wield the same power. Yet the lives we lead, each Ba fragment of Hermanubis stands for something different. Might. I once thought that the nature of our fragments must be what makes us so different from one another. But
I am more than just a warrior.
Exactly.
the name Hermanubis has left its mark on both of us. Shaped. So show me your answer, Sino. Show me I can be more than my faith. More than the power I wield. Bring it on!
you've got? What happened to searching for your answer?
Fight's over. Do you yield?
You won.
Well then, looks like you found your answer.
I give his glory to you.
I've seen that light. That is the light of our Lord, the great Hermanubis, priest over all other priests. His spirit dwells within that lightning, and his will lives on. Once a warrior of Tynar, he emerged from the barren desert sands to serve the god king Al-Ahmar. After the death of the god king, Hermanubis gathered his followers and the Tynarian priests and led them to the city of Tule-Tula. There, they founded the Temple of Silence, and from that day forth, we became stewards of all knowledge that survived from King Deshret's civilization. Barely a century passed before war ravaged the desert. One by one, Eremite leaders took up arms against each other in battles that would devour what little remained of their civilization. Only the wise city of Tule-Tula was spared under the guiding hand of the Tynarians. But peace did not last. Coveting the knowledge of King Deshret, the beasts set their eyes on Tule-Tula. The king of Gurabad laid siege to the city and ordered the sages to surrender to him the Temple of Silence as proof of his victory. The ruling elite colluded with their oppressors, betraying the temple so as to hold on to their rule over the city. They declared that the knowledge guarded by the temple was the true cause of corruption. These were dark days, and we faced enemies on all sides. Our Lord had long since exhausted his strength, keeping the forbidden knowledge introduced by King Deshret at bay. To ensure the temple's continued survival, he broke his being into many pieces and began the ceremony of Hermanubis' legacy, bestowing his power upon his mortal followers. With this power, the temple was able to defeat the tyrant's army. Yet, we were not hailed as heroes. Strange and unfamiliar as this power was, it struck fear into the people's hearts and drove them to reject us. In the end, the people of the temple and the Tule-Tula Tynarians left the city for good and made their way to the rainforest. What followed next was inevitable. The elite of Tula fell and were decimated. War engulfed the desert. And we wandered from place to place, always in hiding, all the while keeping close watch over our secrets and staying true to our mission. Betrayal forced us out of the desert and into the forest. Then mistrust drove us from the forest into the desert once more. We have lived in exile for far, far too long. Yet, today, the Temple of Silence has borne witness to the glory of Hermanubis once more. Thank you.
How is it? Do you feel okay?
Grandfather.
Hey, Sethos. You'll get through this.
I know. I'll miss him.
I guess you were prepared for this. It's been a long time coming, huh?
Yeah, he's been on death's door for a very long time now. I think it was only through sheer willpower that he managed to hold on to this point. At least, he was able to see this chapter come to a close before he passed.
What's next for...
Per my grandfather's last wishes, the Temple of Silence should submit...
But that's never going to work. As I'm sure you realize, I did foresee this possibility and I gave it some thought. The fact is, I know next to nothing about the staff, records, and environment here. As such, Sethos, were it not for this duel, or indeed if you had other intentions, the Ba fragments would most likely be in your hands by now. I do.
Still, I didn't think Bamoon looked very surprised by the final result.
Well, in any case, since the Ba fragments are with me now, Sethos, I would like you to succeed Bamoon as the new leader of the Temple of Silence. You are more suited to the role than I, and I have complete faith that you will be an
But doesn't that render everything that we've been through up to now mean?
No, it doesn't. This experience has allowed us to become friends, which means that the Academia and the Temple of Silence will become partners. That's a much bigger deal than you might think, Sethos. You said yourself, times have changed.
I will try. To be honest, I can...
Actually, part of me wonders whether Bamoon's intentions from the very beginning was just to create enough that way. No matter who won, one of us would have to surrender our Ba fragment, and the power of her. Had you won, the Temple of Silence would, and were I to win, he correctly anticipated that I wouldn't suddenly drop everything to become the leader of the temple. He knew that the temple's future would depend not just on the guidance of Hermanubis, but the support of the Academia too. So he made it his responsibility. His plan meant that whoever ended up succeeding him, they would have an easier time interacting with the Academia. With one single letter.
And here I thought the General Mahamatra wouldn't care for all these trivial details. You're absolutely right. Grandfather and I considered this from every angle. We had to find a way to mend our relationship with... Thank you for everything, Sino. As a gesture of our gratitude, to those that you and Lesser Lord Kusanali deem worthy, the Temple of Silence has a wealth of information on King Deshret's civilization, more than any other organization in existence today. But you must be exceedingly careful with your selection of candidates, lest you lead By the way, Tainari, my grandfather was so happy to see you. You are a descendant of the Veluca Shuna, and the story goes that King Deshret chose the sage Hermanubis from among the Tainarians and appointed him as his familiar. He went on to fight many valiant battles with his Tainarian companions. The Tainarians who left Tule-Tula joined their human counterparts in the rainforest. A few centuries later, in all likelihood...
How fascinating. My father once mentioned that I was named after the Tainarians, but I never knew that my forebears had such a history with the...
I like this story.
Yes. Cyrus. You'll probably find him in my grandfather's room. He wouldn't show it in...
If it's true that you and your grandfather really planned for everything to turn out this way, then I guess he didn't really resent Cyrus as...
Who knows? Perhaps all of us. You, me...
Someone's got to make the decisions when I will make a detailed report on all of this to Lesser Lord Kusanali, and arrange for an official delegation. I'm sure you'll have lots to attend to in the days ahead. But once things return to normal, please come and visit the rain. If we're going to work together, both sides have to get to know one another.
I will. All right. Well...
See you soon. Come hang out with us anytime.
What were you thinking, gallivanting off into the desert alone at your age? What if you take the bucket, You told not a soul what you were up to.
Oh, please, will you stop your yelling? What other choice?
What do you mean, what other choice? A one-man suicide mission,
All right. What do you mean, bag of bones? Okay, look. What?
Tainari's master is really laying into Cyrus.
Professor Butt.
Wow, the last time he chewed someone out like this must have been
I think I'll go around and update everyone. Tell them the situation. We can go for dinner after.
Makes sense. I'm in.
Hyman's coming to...
Hey, Kale.
You're back!
Well, look who we have here. Would you mind explaining to me what has been going on this past few days? I heard...
All taken care of.
That does not answer my question. How could you be so careless? When you run into problems, you really ought to ask for help, you know? I've been around the block. Don't you think it would have...
Now would not be a good time to attempt to argue with Farazan.
You're right.
It's not the first time that I've had to talk to you about this sort of thing either. You need to learn that there are times when the right thing to do is get a more experienced member of staff involved.
Kale, please do something.
He's giving me the signal. Say, Madam Farazan, I can see you're pretty upset, but, I was just wondering, remember that time you...
Huh? Wait, did I hear that right? Kale, you remember? Wonderful. Well, of course the offer...
Poor Kale getting dragged off like that. Also,
Kale! Cup!
huh? What? Oh, right!
What do you mean, cup?
Oh, it's nothing. Just Master's way of reminding me to stay hydrated while I'm out and about.
It's code for let's reconvene at the cafe. Tainari and I used...
Oh, that's...
2 people left. Am I hallucinating? Or do I see Kaveh and Alhaitham engaged in diligent study?
We're just reorganizing all the books we used.
There's no rush. Nobody reads these books anyway.
My sincere thanks.
Yes, with your help, we resolved the issue rather swiftly and painlessly.
I see. The Temple of Silence resorted to rather unique means of self-preservation. It explains how they managed to remain hidden for
And it sounds like they managed to preserve a whole load of ancient documents as well.
That day will come. The Temple of Silence is a hugely important organization, and will be now as a token of my appreciation.
Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds great. Although after the last few days, I don't know if I can handle another coffee.
Sure.
And then, the Traveler just pounced on their opponent and knocked him right. Then there was Tainari. He put up an amazing fight, too. We ended up winning all 3 bouts. Whoa. Part of me wishes I'd been there to see it, but...
A truly edifying account of the events. Bereft of detail, but it has livened up the room all the same.
Hey, Paimon included all the juicy details. The Traveler just pounced and then waved their sword like this, then spun around and blocked.
Despite winning 3 bouts in a row, you still ceded the position of leader to him. That's very dignified of you, Sino.
Of course. Being dignified comes with being a
I got to be a champion too for once. I've not sparred much with desert folk.
Yeah, huge place. It felt like something right out of an epic poem. Imagine this. It was like there was...
Maybe save that one for later, Paimon.
I think that'll do me for today.
Shall we stop off at the House of Dana again before heading home? We should probably finish putting all those books...
My thoughts exactly. See you around.
I should get going as well. See you all later. Make sure you get some...
I need to go say thanks to the Core 30 for their help. Also, Sir Nephis says he wanted to introduce me to some of the Academia's work processes.
Kale's come a long way. She's much more confident at dealing with...
Everyone's a work in progress. You never stop.
Yeah, true.
That was good. It feels like everything's finally... Life is all about these moments when you can finally relax and hang out with good friends after a job well done.
Do you 3 have anything planned for the... If not, would you come somewhere with me? That's a secret for now.
Okay. I think I can guess what you're talking about. It'll...
Well, now Paimon's...
been a while since I last made my... Need any help?
It's a nice spot, isn't it?
What a great view! We're so high up.
Traveler, turn around. This is my secret base. When I was a student, I used to slip away and climb up here all the time, just to clear my head. Back then, I had a lot of the same questions that Sethos was asking. Our gifts help us to find our rightful place in the world. That was my experience. And...
You two really are like brothers.
I feel the same way. Of course. I see no need to be humble.
I still remember one time when we came up here to chat and do our homework. Sino accidentally dropped a fruit. Luckily, he has fast reflex.
That was the one and only time. Nothing will ever slip through my...
Those were good times.
You know, Paimon really shouldn't be able to imagine Sino doing something like that.
Then make it stop. It's... You guys carry...
Okay.
Huh? Hey, you're not...
Oh my...
Professor, what are you muttering to yourself?
Sino. Just the man I'm looking for. Guess what I found?
Some old photos?
Can you believe it? This notebook was just sitting in a pile of odds and ends in the sage's office. I must have forgotten to take it with me. I was at the Academia earlier to discuss my workload with Nephis. I swung by the... Oh, time flies. Look how tiny you are in this picture.
You look quite young yourself in that. Ah, it's this one. I remember that. Lisa took it, didn't she?
Yep. Looks like her work, all right. Who else could have found just the right angle to make me look so...
And this one.
Oh, cheeky girl.
Is there something you'd like to say to me, Professor?
Like what? Like, these are good hey, at moments like this, I hardly know where to begin. I can't pretend I'm a good person. But Moon had every reason to despise me. And whilst...
Don't be ridiculous.
Oh, I've dreamt of that place many times after leaving the desert. Sometimes I've dreamed that I was doing research with them again. Oh, it was one of the happiest times of my... You've matured so much over the years, I know.
Since you're my professor, I should save you some face by not calling you out on all the non-answers you just gave.
Good thinking. Take your own advice next time. Seriously, why bully an old man like me? I thought heroes... Hey, wait, how did I not notice this one earlier?
Lisa strikes again. Just how many did she take?
Look how cute you were when you were little. I remember how well-mannered you were back...
Yeah, and look how serious and professional you used to be.
Oh, I can't compete with you anymore. First you get better than me at the deadpan jokes, and now you're besting me at those little quips too.
Don't say that. I still have a lot of respect for you.
That's more like it. Hey, what would you say to meeting up with Lisa again sometime?
I'd like that. Let's find a time and pay her a visit in Mondstadt.
All right, I'll add it to my schedule. Let's go next... Wait, no. Next week is the tomato growing competition. I have got to beat...
Or you could find a real hobby, Professor.